And so we move on to public participation, and could I invite Hayley Guleta and David Duffy to come forward for the Richmond Residents and Business Association.
Kia ora koutou. My name is Hayley Guleta and David Duffy on behalf of the Richmond Residents and Business Association. Thank you for giving us some time this morning. I'm going to warn you in advance, I'm going to speak very quickly because I've a huge amount of content I've got to fit in 4.5 minutes so you can ask me some questions. So here I go. We wish to discuss the number of not notifiable consents that are being issued in our neighbourhood affecting our community's amenities. This issue is not limited to Richmond, and we're very aware that the other fringe central city communities are facing the same issues. We are not anti-progress, and we have to try and find a balanced, holistic approach whereby each consent is not considered just on its individual merits, but the whole area in mind. The nature of the residents may surprise the elected officials and staff. We are a diverse community, but we're not entirely socially and economically deprived. There has been significant investment by residents in redeveloping their damaged houses, and an upsurge of new investment in the suburb by new residents choosing Richmond to put down roots due to its considerable amenities, proximity to the city, and established charm and history. This is a matter of pride for the Richmond residents, and we will move individually and as an organised group proactively to protect amenity, flavour and the appeal of our suburb. Richmond is recovering on its own as the market awakens to the locality, facilities and charm. There is no need to force the population issue with ultra high density development. These slides are tables of your most recent consent numbers. We find it very interesting there is virtually no notifiable issues in this financial year, when we have found, without looking too far, a number of consents that we believe should have been notifiable to the local community. Now, we realise that Housing New Zealand is a law unto themselves and have a mandate to roll out as much affordable housing as they can under the current government, but this does not have to be at the expense of local communities. No developer would have gotten away with this site. No community consultation, 8 houses turned to 37 units in a tree-lined street next to a park with no lighting and security. It is also next to a public paddling pool that the local neighbourhood fought hard to retain. These locals have also reduced the amount of crime and vandalism in the area, and within 2 months of this development coming online, we have seen an increase in petty crime, drinking at night and drug-related issues. You might remember this doozy. We got this in the media because the local developer did not clean up their site, leaving it in disrepair and making our suburb look messy. Turns out it was a local developer, and they were happy to let another local business clean it up along with Shirley Boys High School. Within 2 days of this 2 days before the 20-day consent process closed, a sign went up telling our locals that this is going to be an MPD station, not giving anyone a time to consider it. We feel that there is at least 5 less than minor breaches of the district plan, not to mention the site is right smack in the middle of residential housing. We already have 3 petrol stations. It is unmanned, so brings no jobs and no amenity whatsoever to our community. So where this developer is telling us that they're providing us poor Richmondites with cheap petrol, this developer is telling us that we don't need parking because people won't have cars in the near future. This development is also being marketed as an Airbnb investment. 21 units where 1 house stood in a street that you cannot drive 2 cars down. The whole site has been felled of the trees to make way for this development, and we have found at least 13 areas of concern in the consent process. These include the infrastructure of the street, the car parking, the recession planes and the rubbish removal. This situation is creating tensions between the CCC and the community, the developers and the community, and I'm pretty sure between CCC and the developers. These consents do not meet with your strategic framework and when there is multiple less than minor issues, they should be considered cumulatively in order for the local community to be notified and have a say when things impact on their existing amenities. I would just like to close with a quote that we found from an article Megan Woods wrote in 2017, as it pretty much sums up what's happening. Neighbourhoods built on a foundation of conflict are unlikely to flourish as strong communities. I left time for questions.
Thank you. No, we're out of time.
Sorry.
I understand that Councillor Switz wanted to move a resolution in relation to that.
Yes, and the resolution should have been sent to the. There we are. So the resolution that I want to propose is that the Regulatory Performance Committee investigate.
Yeah.
Did I spell that wrong? No,
It's a new word.
We're good at making words up.
It's an electronic version of investigate.
yeah, well, there we go. It is actually a new word. Investigate the operation of the district plan as it affects the neighbourhood amenity in areas that require high density. Yeah. So I've passed that by the people who have done the public forum, and they're aware of that and okay with that as well.
Okay, are you happy to second it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to second it. I was just wondering if we can just put a time frame and maybe the words urgent, given that we've just had some quite, well, a very stunning presentation around what some of the issues are.
Yeah.
I think this needs to be done urgently. So
urgently,
and
are you happy with that?
A time frame as well.
Urgently investigate the operation of the district plan as it affects. Look, you may or may not be aware, but we don't have the power over our district plan at the moment. So we have asked the minister to reinstate that. That is a matter that's being addressed at the moment. So I think we just leave the word urgently in there. That gives that sense of immediacy to the issue, but actually
a date for it too.
No, because we have to wait until we get our ability to change our district plan back. It may or may not have to go through that process. So
yeah, and I just wondered about requiring high density as well. Like,
it's a funny word.
Would you prefer the word allow?
Yeah, okay. The Chief Executive's just asked, just for a technical correctness, that that request staff to urgently
investigate and report.
Yeah, urgently investigate the operation as it affects neighbourhood amenity and report to the Regulatory Performance Committee. I mean, it will. The Regulatory Performance Committee are very keen to take this on. Yep. So,
I mean, the reason that I've got require in there, I mean, we could do require. What was the word you said?
No, requires fine.
Yeah, require, because there are areas in that are affected, and Hayley is here representing the Richmond, but they're actually working with all of the inner city residents, because there are spaces that require. If you take a house off, you actually have to put higher density there. So that's why we've got require.
yeah, except, sorry, but there may be some areas that don't require high density that are actually covered by this. And like, I don't know what the rules are specifically in Phillipstown, but Phillipstown's had a huge influx of intensive, dense housing. It doesn't require any more. Like, so I just wonder if maybe we could just, I want to see it's more embracing of other areas that are facing the same issue that may not be technically requiring high density.
Would you want to say allow?
I'm okay with putting allow / require.
Yeah. And then so allow / require, I think so allow /
With respect, Your Worship, the Council does have control of the consents process and the robustness and detail.
I'm sorry, you've made your public reputation.
Okay, so my apology.
Or is this a procedural motion, Leanne, or a debatable motion?
I didn't really want to open it up for debate.
Right. So
we don't have a resolution at the
I know.
end of this,
Yeah.
But it was
request that came through.
Okay.
I've got a mover and a seconder, and I'd like to put the motion. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.